Hi, my name is Yuri Lowenthal, and I love it when you kill me in video games. You're listening to The Gaming Outsider.
Happy late St. Patrick's Day, everybody. On this week's episode, Zack, Alyssa, and I chat about villains that we love to hate, especially those evil organizations that make it so easy to despise them. It should come as no surprise that we're still talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as well, which Alyssa finally started this week. Also, Spencer and Jacob stopped by to talk about Metal Mind on Switch and Planetscape on PC. This is The Gaming Outsider. Hey guys, Scott Clark with The Gaming Outsider here. If you're in the market for a new gaming chair, I've got a fantastic deal for you. We've partnered with eWin Racing, who produces the most comfortable gaming chair I've ever sat in. They've got them in sizes for all gamers, and the quality is simply incredible. As a listener of The Go, you can get 25% off your order if you use the promo code TGO at checkout when you visit ewinracing.com. You don't have to just take my word for it, however, as multiple members of our community have picked up a chair for themselves, and they love it just as much as I do. You won't be disappointed. eWin Racing, the best gaming chairs out there. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. We've also got a community at facebook.com/groups/thegocast, and even a Discord server. There's a link for it in the show notes of this very episode. It is Sunday, March 17th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends, Mr. Zack Parkerson.
Well,
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the... What? Are you Irish?
Well, it's St. Patrick's Day.
Are you Irish?
A third?
It's kind of weird, man.
Irish?
It sounds like cultural appropriation to me.
Oh, my goodness. Also joining us, Miss Alyssa White. How are you, lassie?
Oh, well,
oh, there he goes. He
everything's
keeps it going, doesn't he?
much better now that I'm with you guys. I don't know if I'm Irish or not, so, if you want to call me Irish, you can at the moment.
I think everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day, right?
Is America the only country where we hyperfixate on our heritage? Or is that universal, do you think?
I have no idea. I
don't know.
Only in America. So
No, I know, but it's just because, no, we don't be like, yeah, I'm American. It's always like, yeah, I got some Italian and Irish. I just wonder, does people living in Britain do that?
Yeah, do they go, hey, well, I'm pretty sure they don't celebrate 4th of July in England.
Oh, no, they don't.
that would be weird. Well,
that would be really weird. But I mean,
we
holidays that we have
to,
here.
After a victory.
But do you think, in other countries, they celebrate our holidays here? We celebrate Cinco de Mayo for some reason and St. Patrick's Day? And
they don't typically celebrate Thanksgiving in other countries besides Canada.
We probably shouldn't celebrate it here.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Speaking from my heritage.
In Japan, they celebrate Christmas by eating fried chicken and cake, but they still go to work even if it's on a Sunday. So you don't
celebrate
get that day off.
We celebrate that way every day in America.
That's America Day. Every
day.
KFC,
they sell out KFC in Japan all the time on Christmas because people get KFC catered to their house for Christmas.
That's so strange.
The Colonel delivers.
The more you know.
The Colonel is Santa Claus in Nihon.
Oh, that's my goodness.
You know the Japanese name for Japan.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
American Gene Dis. That's
yeah. Anyway, our March Madness deal is going live and strong on Discord and on Facebook. If you guys haven't checked it out, Kevin has put a lot of time into basically taking 64 different 6th gen and previous platformers, matching them up one against each other, and then putting it together like a Google Forms for everybody to vote on it, and he's been posting updates on it. It's been a lot of fun. There's been a couple that I don't vote on because I've not played either game, and I felt guilty about just picking one.
You're ignoring your civic duty to the Gaming Outsider, I understand.
Well, no, it's not that. It's I don't feel right voting for one. Should I vote for one if I've not played either game? I've never played Rystar.
Sure. Did you play Sly 2?
No, did not play Sly 2.
Oh.
Didn't vote for it. Because I
voted for it.
I've been voting for the ones where I played both of them. Unless it was one that I was like, okay, there's no way this one's going to top that one. You know what I mean? Can't remember.
Oh, yeah, the poor matchup of Super Mario 64 against Aladdin.
I saw that.
I mean, Aladdin's a great game.
But it doesn't hold a shot. It's Super Mario 64.
Yeah, it was all random, but the one that broke my heart was Banjo-Kazooie winning over Mega Man X, one of my favorite platformers of all time.
Well, it made my heart happy because Banjo-Kazooie is one of my favorite platformers of all time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Scott versus Zack. Zack won.
Yeah, right? Donkey Kong Country won over The Lion King. I don't like The Lion King. I know that game, some people like it, but that game was stupid hard. I mean, I guess once you got past the first level, but... And at the final boss, when you fight Scar in that game, you can just kind of go in the corner. I didn't even know this. I just did it. You just go in the corner, duck, and swipe your claw, and you do that for 10 minutes, and you'll beat the final boss.
I can confidently say I've never made it to the final boss in The Lion King.
I have, but that's because I've never played it.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, especially just like the opening level does not even give you much grace at all. There's this section where you have to grab on the tails of these giraffes and swing around and stuff, and you can't really tell where you're supposed. The hitbox detection is not great in that game.
I took that one right back to the rental store and said never again.
Yeah, it was rough. What were some other surprises here?
Well, no surprise, but it's good to see Sonic Adventure 2 won its matchup. So.
Yeah, who did that win over? Sonic
over Kirby's Dream Land.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
another one.
Sonic's having a strong showing here, and it's good to see because
Kevin is running the whole thing. So.
Are you? What are you trying to say here? Are you trying to say collusion?
I'm just saying. We can't see the results. Only Kevin can see the results,
Kevin,
and Sonic is shockingly doing well.
God.
So.
Well, Scott, you should get in politics the way you're throwing around conspiracies like this.
I know, right? Yoshi's Story. I haven't played that game in a while, but I remember really liking that game, and I went and watched some gameplay of that one, and that's one I wouldn't mind going back and revisiting sometime. It reminded me of Mario World 2, the Yoshi's Story, or whatever, Yoshi's Island? Is that what it was called?
Right.
Man, I love that game. But anyway,
have
some fun.
That's the Nintendo 64 one, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which I remember playing a little bit and not loving it when I was a kid, but I didn't have a lot of patience when I was a kid. But I played Yoshi's Island, so I don't know.
My brothers and I played the hell out of Yoshi's Story back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. My littlest brother was obsessed with it.
If you guys want to get in on the fun and contribute some votes, please do so. Kevin posts them on our Discord and on Facebook. So please join and please vote. He posts them once per day, and then we've got till the end of the month to kind of figure out what the ultimate platformer, according to the Gaming Outsider community, is. So have some fun there.
Sonic Adventure 2 or Banjo-Kazooie, right? We're all in agreement on that. It's got to be one of those two.
I mean, it's going to be great if it comes down to a Mario game versus the Sonic game.
Well, that would be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then then we'll see if my conspiracy really holds water or not.
That's not how that works. If my side doesn't win, there is conspiracy. That's dangerous.
I mean,
dangerous.
I'm not going to storm anyway.
You want to get together on January 6th and storm Kevin's house?
Anyway, I'm not going to touch that. I am not going to touch that. Zach, let's talk about the games we've been catching up on, starting with you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Right at the top, I was sick this past Wednesday.
Oh, no.
So I actually stayed home from work. So I decided to play a comforting game. So I decided to boot up Grand Theft Auto 5. All this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me feel comfortable.
Nice, lighthearted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I get
GTA 6 hype's coming at us. And I played all the way through to the first heist, which, dude, I feel like that's what this game's all about, right? These heists.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I looked forward to when I played it. Only GTA game I've ever finished.
Because you're always looking forward to is that because you're looking forward to the next heist?
I honestly could not remember much of that game. The thing that sticks out to me in my memory is Trevor. Like, in general, Trevor sticks out to me. But
Yeah.
I remember Trevor hooking up somebody to a car battery and torturing him. And I was like mildly disturbed at that point when I felt uncomfortable for a bit watching that scene.
I'm pretty sure it wanted you to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the way they introduce all the characters to each other, they really take their time doing it. It's really expertly done. A lot of fun. The Franklin and Michael dynamic is really great. You don't get to see Trevor until after the first heist, so I've only just got to him and his little redneck meth storyline that goes on over there, where he kills off a bunch of main characters of GTA 4 pretty casually. which is a lot of fun. But dude, yeah, I think this game is great and holds up. You know, you only ever hear about Grand Theft Auto Online these days, but the campaign in GTA 5 is a hell of a lot of fun.
Is that the one where when they switch from character to character, it like kind of zooms up on the map and then goes across the map and then zooms back down to the other characters, so you kind of know where they are geographically and in relation to each other?
Never gets old because you drop in on them like in the middle of their day.
Yeah.
You know, like Franklin playing with his dog, or Michael just sitting in his car out front of his house sad because he hates his life, you know? It's good. Or Trevor doing all sorts of utter insanity.
Yeah, like everything he did is nuts.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll drop into him and you'll just be in the middle of a police chase.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That is cool. They'll just do like right in the middle of something. It could be something mundane, like just sitting out having a glass of lemonade or something, or no, like right in the middle of whatever is going on, which is kind of cool.
And the way they handle the heist is so much fun. You have to actually like plan things out, and you get to pick your approach and stuff like that. I'm having a whole lot of fun. It's great.
Awesome, dude. You just got done with 4 like a few months ago.
Yeah,
like,
last year. Last year I played through 4. So just a Grand Theft
Nice.
Auto a year, you know?
Apparently. What else?
And then, last week I was talking about The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky SC, finished that up. Had some problems with the ending. I would like to rescind some of that vitriol, however. I think I was pretty mad at the final dungeon because it sucks. So I think I was a little harping on it a little bit more. And more importantly, there is Trails in the Sky the third, which I can't play because it's only on PC. And I watched a bunch of videos online, and despite what I was told by the community about it being mostly a spin-off, it definitely answers some questions about the ending of SC that makes it much better. So in the end, I did love SC, but I was looking forward to the break, in between playing the next one. Maybe should read some books during my transit, or catch up on some comics. But anyway, naturally, I decided to just go ahead and start the next game, Trails from Zero, game number 4 in the series, and having a lot of fun. It's the start of a new arc in a new country, but it continues this long form storyline that's going through all these Trails games. But this one's focused on the city-state of Crossbell, and a lot of interesting geopolitics involved right now because there was a non-aggression pact between countries surrounding Crossbell, because people are always trying to annex Crossbell, but now there's a non-aggression pact, so the city is booming economically. It's kind of fun because I saw that aggression pact get signed, 2 games ago or whatever. So it's nice to see the ramifications of that. And then the game itself just has a really cool hook because you're a detective, which I can't say I've played in a JRPG before. And it actually it walks you through the crimes and the crime scenes or whatever, but it actually asks you, the player, like what happened and to deduce things.
Oh, I love that.
Like you have to pay attention to when you go to the hospital to see like the perp in custody or whatever, and they're healing from wounds. Like the doctor tells you about their wounds, but 45 minutes, an hour later, they're going to ask you about why those wounds do or do not make sense, and you as a player have to remember what happened that hour ago.
You taking notes?
You have to. Well, I'm taking mental notes, but it's always fun being a cop in video games, detectives.
It is. I love it.
Yeah, definitely like LA Noire energy going on here. I wish if only I could shift my personality and scream at perps like I did in LA Noire. But yeah, dude, it's a lot of fun.
X for doubt.
Yes, or press Y to scream at them.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so funny that you would scream at somebody and then you would be wrong in the evidence, and he was like, "I'm just doing my job. You understand?" Like you just told this man he turned his wife into a lampshade, and now you're like, what, dude, my bad. I was off on that. But anyway, Trails from Zero, hell of a lot of fun. And it continues the incredible combat with refinements. The Switch version is super cool because it's got turbo mode, which means that the mob battles, the grinding battles you do in JRPGs, they can just be over in an instant, which is nice because animations in these Trails games take an absurd amount of time. So it's nice to have that turbo button. Real game changer.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to maybe every traditional JRPG should have a little turbo button.
Yeah, just for okay.
Just to get through grinding.
Right.
That
would be nice.
A little quality of life feature. And then, I guess while I'm just talking at you guys, I did play some more Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection.
I have some questions, man, because I have had people message me this week.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with the reviews we posted on the website this week, but I had more people contact me directly and be like, "Hey, I bought Star Wars Battlefront," or well, I'm not buying Star Wars Battlefront, and like,
yeah, I didn't know this review is gonna be such a lightning rod.
yes, because apparently the game has had like you're one of the only positive reviews for this game.
Well, you'll notice in our review thing it says PS5, so I think that's important.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Steam version, right, is one of the worst review launches ever, or something like that.
9th worst review on Steam of all time. I read or I heard.
Ooh, that's
brutal.
rough.
So yeah, people aren't too happy. Apparently, like the first night, only like 120 something people were able to get in. I don't know if that number is accurate, but it's having some issues. But you're having fun with it on console. It sounds like.
Right, yeah, on console, there are no server issues. There are dozens and dozens of servers, and they're filled up during different times. I played some of it when I was homesick after launch, and was having fun. I was having a hell of a time, and then going online and seeing everybody just dogging on it. It doesn't help that I think, most of the headlines or whatever talking about the game don't mention, like the Steam that it's Steam. They just say Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's probably turning some people away. But that's not their job, I guess. It's Spire's job to release a working video game.
Sure.
On Steam. But in terms of my experience on PS5, I'm having a blast. I'm having some really weird issues because they patched it on Wednesday, and I could play with an inverted y-axis. And then there was another new patch, and now the inverted y-axis is gone again.
So they removed the quality of life thing that you were
right after
initially
his review was posted too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, it's just frustrating because the original version, the original release does have inverted Y. Scott looked it up, and then I also verified the original release had the Y-axis inversion, and then pre-release this version did not, and then at launch it did again, thank God, and now it's gone again. I don't know what the hell's going on with that.
It doesn't make any sense.
But I'm feeling personally attacked.
It feels like an oversight, like that has to be corrected in the next patch, right?
I mean, it's such a standard shooter feature going back decades.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to. I would not be able to play a shooter well. I don't think I would play it like if I weren't able to invert.
It only works in Battlefront because depending on the server, you can set your own rules, but some servers have aim assist on, and it's pretty sticky.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only reason I'm getting away with it. If it did not have the aim assist online, I would not be able to play it straight up.
Gotcha.
Because the inverting y-axis is very important to me, and has been the entire time I've played shooters. It is inexcusable to not have it here.
I mean, it's just like imagine if right and left were switched. Like it would be
right.
It's that bad. It's that drastic of a change for me,
and it makes no sense
that it's not there. That it's not available to have the option.
Especially because it's in the original game. And
right.
What Aspire does is they just port them. Right, they're not like remasters or anything exciting. So what the hell are they doing?
Well, I mean, again, it's not as simple as right-click copy, right-click paste, but
I'm just saying it's not as involved as the majority of remasters.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's weird to remove a feature. That's pretty weird.
It is weird. I feel like it's got to be like when they went to do this, it was an accidental unclick. I'm just like, I don't know how game development works, but like, I'm just imagining like a tick box and somebody accidentally unclicked this y-axis thing. And
it makes more sense than any other theory.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, truly the mind-boggling aspect is that it was there the other day and is gone yet again.
Yeah. Like you didn't imagine it.
No, I definitely did not. I was playing it. I was playing it well all of a sudden,
Right.
Stupid. Just stupid. But yeah, on at least on PS5, that's my experience. The game is a banger if you like Star Wars. Sounds like on Steam. Don't buy that.
And maybe avoid the Steam version at the moment.
Yeah.
So what's your update on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? What's your progress?
Well, I'm sure we all have something to say on this. I am in chapter 13 of what I assume is 14, though I do not know. I am nearing the end of disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is my update. It's kind of nice. They're getting very personal with each of the characters where I'm at, which is nice. They're really fleshing these characters out compared to the original game. I did beat every Queen's Blood player. I'll tell you that.
Whoa. Is there a trophy for that?
I don't know if there was. I assume there must have been, right?
You think there would be?
Yeah. either way, I did do it. I did finally have to change my deck, though, for the last 2 opponents, so I guess I was wrong eventually.
Did you use the starter deck the whole time until those last 2?
I did, yes.
Wow.
Well, not
crazy.
I used cards I got in the starting area. What's Calm? Is that right? Calm? The first time?
Calm. Yeah.
So I built a deck there, and then I just used that deck for the entire game. And it was just fine. Because it's about positioning. It's not about the cards. Until the last 2. I hear Gold Saucer has some more challenging opponents, but in terms of the actual side quest path of Queen's Blood, you really didn't need to change your deck until the last 2 opponents. Which are both
trash talkers though in those side quests.
Yeah, well they're fun. Oh man, there's a guy. One of your opponents is a Shinra soldier.
Yeah,
your back and forth with him is delightful.
Awesome. I'm on chapter 10. I just arrived to the big city or location that you mentioned last time we talked about. It was pretty awesome, and you're right. It's really awesome. The view from up there. Is gorgeous, and the fun little surprise. Obviously, we knew what was going to happen with this particular 4-legged character in my party, but the way they revealed that was off-putting for a second. I was like, I thought there was a mistake.
Yeah,
I really thought there was a mistake, and then I realized what they were actually doing, and that was pretty awesome.
I love that you're like dancing around it, but you're also just saying it.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious too because.
Have you played the original?
No, I never played the original, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
There's a really fun twist with Red 13 in the original game. I feel comfortable saying that. The way they replicate it here is somewhat jarring, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I wish it didn't make sense, but to talk about that would be spoilery.
I am really looking forward to seeing his backstory in this version. Like, the iconic moment that takes place in this section. I'm really looking forward to see how they handle it. So
it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty much identical.
Nice. And Alyssa, you finally started it, yes?
I have, but I'm not that far in. I'm only about 5 hours in. Chapter 2, I spent an hour of that 5 hours playing Queen's Blood.
Yeah. Do you like Queen's Blood?
The first 2 opponents, I basically slaughtered them. I was like, I love this game, this minigame.
Oh, okay.
Then I got to stinking Virgil. I don't want to say
Dante's brother?
I wish. No, this guy. I don't know why he was so tricky. Like, I used the starter deck. But it took me about an hour for my cards to line up just perfectly in my lineup so I could position my cards to beat him. Mm-hmm. But it's a side quest, so I had to do it. I didn't have to do it, but I felt compelled to do it. But I'm loving the game. Got my Chocobros. It is very, very weird to see Red 13 ride the Chocobo.
Yeah.
Like you guys mentioned last week or the week before. I'm like, I had to pan the camera around because I'm like, I gotta see what he looks like. Does he really look like that? I'm like, oh my god, he does look like that. I don't like this.
He's riding the Chocobo like a real boy.
I know. It's so weird. Love the first chapter. I don't know if that's what you guys are telling me I should text you about. I'm like, I don't know if this is what they're talking about.
I don't remember.
I assume just the very opening of the game would
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't text us, so thanks for that.
I didn't know if that was what you guys meant. Like,
you could always just text us. You don't have that reason. It's okay.
Bad Alyssa. Okay.
Yes.
Next time something awesome happens, I'll make it up to you guys and text you. I heard that. I heard that, Zack. Anyway, I'm loving it so far. I'm just very far behind.
Now, are you playing it with the action or are you playing it turn-based?
Action currently, but I am very curious to see how it'd be turn-based, though.
Every time I think about that it's got turn-based mode in it, I want to check it out, and then I forget just because I just get into battle and I just enjoy it so much.
The trouble is the combat is so much outrageous fun as it is that
I
don't feel compelled to try the turn-based.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm just used to it being like action now since, 16, 15.
Oh, Final Fantasy 16 was such a fun Devil May Cry game.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it was.
There's a side quest I did skip in the Gagongo area. There's there's a guy that wants Yuffie to train him, and he makes you go through. It's basically a series of those, hunting quests that I've been skipping all over the map, and I just despise those where like you have to stagger this enemy 2 times and then pressure him twice and stagger him, and my characters are so high leveled that they're just destroying them. And Brandon Smith gave me some pointers, but I have yet to follow them well. So
I did do that quest, and I'm going to tell you why, and it's kind of an unfortunate thing I have to say here. I like Yuffie now.
Oh, really?
This game has turned me around on Yuffie.
Oh.
Particularly her little friendship with Barrett, I think, is absolutely adorable.
Yes.
They have a very fun camaraderie. Yeah, she is definitely still obnoxious, but she's kind of annoying in a way that you're like a little sister would be annoying, but you still love her. Yes.
It's a really good way to put it.
That's how I felt about her in Intermission, right? That was the name of it, DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, she's annoying, but
I think I was so annoyed with her there because she was the lead,
Right.
True, yeah.
And the guy you're with was her subordinate, so she was supposed to be the boss, but she was acting like a middle schooler. That was a little frustrating, but
how old is she, by the way?
She's 16.
Okay. So, she's still a child, basically.
Well, in Japan, she's coming near retirement, according to JRPG characters.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, I'll never get over the heart attack I had when I was a kid and I learned Auron was like 32.
Who?
Auron in Final Fantasy X, the gray-haired drunk samurai who keeps his arm in his sling.
He's 32 years old.
He's supposed to be 32 years old. He looks like 55.
I didn't know that.
That's pretty good. But anyway, yeah, Yuffie, I like her now. I even like Kate Sith. So this game is doing now I want every FF to have this remake treatment so I can like all of the characters I don't like.
Right.
Because they spend so much time on these people and flesh them out.
I agree.
I care about them all.
I'm really enjoying it, but that's no surprise. Glad you're enjoying it too, Alyssa. I'm glad you finally hopped on the train. So I also played some Balatro. I got my 3rd win this week, which sounds awesome, but then I looked at my clock and realized I've actually put like 16 hours into this game and only got 3 wins, which is
a win's a win.
I feel like that can't be right. I don't feel like I've been playing it for 16 hours, but I don't know if some of that is like idle time or whatever, but I want to get at least 5 wins under my belt because it unlocks some extra challenges, and it's just a very checklisty game in terms of other things that you can try. There's a really fun thing in this game. There are these things called vouchers. You can purchase them for $10, which is a pretty pricey. It's a pretty high price in the game if you played it. But these vouchers do big permanent things for that run. And one of these vouchers is called a blank card, and it says it literally does nothing. So you pay $10 and it does nothing. And I'm like, it can't be nothing. Come to find out, you buy 10 of them, it gets you an extra Joker card slot. So like you can only have 5 Jokers at one time. So if you do that, you can now have 6 Joker slots, which
I assume is significant.
Very significant, because those Joker cards are basically the ones that allow you to do fun things to your deck in order to be able to make your chip stack higher. And if you're limited to 5, you reach a wall of which one do I get rid of? Which one do I like the least out of these awesome cards that I've purchased? And I've got a 6th slot, and it's great. So I did convince somebody to buy it. Joel Solinsky, my buddy, my Friday night online buddy, one of them, he bought it and promptly sent me a message with his first win. He got his first win much quicker than I did, so I think he's liking it as well. So, yeah, that's what I've been playing, and I only got 2 hours in Final Fantasy, but I hope to remedy that this week. I looked at my calendar. I have nothing going on except for D&D on Thursday night, and nothing this weekend, and my spring break starts on Friday. So,
oh, that's awesome.
I'm looking very, very forward to it. So, anyway, that's what we've been catching up on. Let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Lots of things going on this week. We got a trailer for Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch coming out sometime in 2024.
What a nice, wholesome name.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's appropriate for that,
Yeah.
If you know those characters, for sure. Finalists for the Video Game Hall of Fame have been announced. The Grandia HD Collection is coming to Xbox and PlayStation. There's been some interesting updates to Sea of Stars and as well as Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And the System Shock remake hits PlayStation and Xbox this May. Alyssa, which story do you want to talk about?
I'm actually interested in the interesting updates to Sea of Stars and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which I sadly have not played the latter. I want to remedy that though. For Sea of Stars, the updates, it's recently reached 5 million players. Sabotage,
huge.
Yeah, that's huge, especially for that game. Sabotage Studios announced that they'll be adding a 3-player co-op mode, and it'll be called single player plus mode. And it will also include timed co-op hits. As of right now, it will only be couch co-op, as the studio said they are worried about latency if it's played online. And they're also working on DLC called Throes of the Watchmaker, which was part of the Kickstarter stretch goal.
I thought this was really cool news until they said it was couch only. There's nobody that's going to come sit down and play a JRPG with me in my basement for
no, but I also think expecting a small game like Sea of Stars to implement, network connectivity for such a small use case scenario is.
I get it, but still, like it's cool. It reminds me of Secret of Mana. Wasn't Secret of Mana have on Super Nintendo? You could play that multi-tap with 3 people.
Yeah, there's some PS1 RPGs that let you do that as well. Because I remember doing it with my brothers, where you each pick, basically you just choose a character's turn actions or whatever. But it's still okay. It's an okay feature. I'm excited for the DLC, dude.
Oh yeah, me too.
I haven't even finished the game, so I'm gonna have to start over.
I will gladly take more Sea of Stars. The Watchmaker was a cool character. I whipped their butt in Wheels. Well, that felt good.
Wheels? Is that like an in-game game?
It's a mini game in there. Zack actually texted me when we were playing. He's like, "How many Wheels players have you beaten?" I'm like, "I haven't beaten anyone." And he's like, "I beat them all."
Yeah, dude, I love Wheels. I thought Wheels was great. I had a lot of fun with Wheels.
Very cool. And then there were some updates in Prince of Persia: Lost Crown as well on March 20th, which is upcoming. It's in 3 days from now. There's going to be free Warriors Path DLC, including a speedrun mode, permadeath mode. That sounds miserable. Why would I want a permadeath mode?
Terrible, that game.
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine dying once and you're think of just the rooms, some of the spinning death rooms?
I mean, I would need the Dagger of Time to make that feasible.
Right. I don't even get it. Anyway, there's also going to be some new outfits for Sargon, although I got the coolest outfit in the game.
Well, I hope it's not just more palette swaps of his base outfit, because that's what 90% of the outfits were that you unlocked in the game.
Pretty
Come
much.
on, make it more fashionable.
Yeah, dude.
And then Ubisoft is also going to be adding some extra content throughout the year. There's going to be a boss attack mode DLC featuring a boss rush mode and more Sargon outfits. So apparently outfits are going to be the thing. That's going to be out spring of 2024. There's something called Divine Trials, which has new combat, platform, and puzzle challenges along with items. And then this is the part that's interesting to me, a brand new story DLC. There's no additional info on this content, but it looks to expand on the main story and is expected to release later in 2024. I wonder if it's going to be free. That's the thing.
No. The other 3 had a note saying it was free, and this one did not have that note. So you can safely assume you will be paying for the story DLC.
But here's the thing. By the time that comes out, I'm going to have forgotten how to play that game, man. You know what I mean? Like the controls and everything.
I think it's already in my bones.
You think so?
So good. What a game. I'm very excited for the story DLC. I assume it will have to do with the Prince of Persia.
I assumed it was going to have something to do with what happens at the end with a certain character that you interact with, like in the closing cinematic.
Yeah, maybe. I guess my assumption is just it will flesh out the legend you learn about it during the game.
Gotcha.
That's my guess. I'm also looking forward to the Divine Trials. I did not expect more content for the Lost Crown, considering Ubisoft said it was a disappointment sales-wise. But I guess this is them trying to maybe recoup some money or keep interest flowing in it, trying to make some sales. But dude, obviously this is a game of the year contender, so I'm stoked to play more of it.
Still my favorite.
Yeah.
Still my favorite game of the year so far.
Same.
I like Final Fantasy, but that game just, I don't know if it was perfect timing or what for me, but it was great.
I think it's such a surprise at how good it was,
Yeah, I was looking forward to it, but I did not expect it to be that high quality for me.
Yeah.
I love it when I'm surprised.
As a big fan of the property, I was, excited for it, but also ready for it to mess it all up.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Zach, which story you want to talk about?
I kind of want to, throw this one out to Kevin. The Grandia HD collection coming to Xbox and PlayStation. I know he loves Grandia too, our producer.
Yeah.
It's the HD collection coming to includes Grandia 1 and 2. Came to PC and Switch in 2019, but it's finally coming to PS4 and Xbox One. Obviously, you can play that, on your fancy new hardware too. Yeah, it's coming out March 26th. You can pre-order it now for $34.99, and Limited Run Games is doing a physical copy. Well, it's like $55 for some reason. What? That's just surprising.
Yeah, it's surprising that the physical version is that much more. Like, we've been asking for cheaper prices in digital for forever, and I don't know. So it's not supposed to be like, here's the base game, and the physical is going to be more. It's supposed to be, here's the base game, the digital is going to be less.
Yeah, well, I assume maybe it comes with some goodies I didn't see or something like that. It's just Limited Run. Usually, it's like $35, $40 for a physical game,
right?
So
so $55 is a little steep for them.
Maybe I read the price in a fever dream. I don't know. Either way, I'll pick this up for Kevin. I'll check this game out.
You've never played either?
Me? Nope.
Oh.
I haven't either, but I've always wanted to play these games, so I might pick it up as well.
I really like the characters, man. I think you will really like the conversations between those characters.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, Grandia. I'm just going to jump right into Grandia 2. I assume that's fine.
That's what I did. They're completely different stories.
Yeah,
They're not like sequels or anything. And you're also going to love the slice of life moments. There's like when you go rest at an inn, there's you all sit down together for a meal, and then you have a conversation with your party like before you guys go to bed, and you can not have that conversation and just avoid it or whatever. But every time I did, I went through and exhausted every dialogue tree option, and I just thought that was kind of cool. And they're all like, there's an animation of them eating and drinking while they're having this conversation.
That's very cool.
I thought of you when I played it. I was like, Zach would really like this, and it's not a difficult game. I think I died once the entire run.
Sounds like it would really sell the like friends on an adventure, vibe. That's cool.
Yeah.
I know the combat system has the churn order on the side. Can you manipulate the churn order? Is that part of the combat?
Man, it's been 2 years since I played it at this point. Okay. Yes, there is ways to, because it's like there's cards. You've seen the ones where there's cards that show the order, and they're slowly moving from one way to the other. It's like its own version of doing the ATB. So instead of filling up a meter, it's just moving that character's card, and you can do something to basically bump that card back further. You know what I mean? So, and then there's a really cool mechanic where there's like the last window with their attack window. If you were able to do some kind of debuff while it's in that specific window, it puts it even further back or does some kind of negative effect. It's really clever. It's kind of like a dance, as it were, and I think you would dig it. I haven't played the first one, but
because Trails has that like where you can manipulate the turn order, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. They do a thing where different turns have different bonuses, so if you can bounce characters around in the order, you can give yourself those perks instead or whatever. And I've just been having a lot of fun with that. So I think Grandia 2 has similar sensibilities.
Yeah. I think we should have added in this story too. They're somewhat related. The System Shock remake is coming to PlayStation and Xbox as well. That game originally released on PC on May 30th last year, and the console port comes out May 21st. And of course, I just bought it on PC. I bought it on Steam Deck. So
well, you can still play it there. You're not obligated to only play it on console.
Yeah, but achievements on Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're right.
And big screen. I have to, if I play on my Steam Deck, I have to play it on my. I like my Steam Deck. Don't get me wrong, but I have a Steam Dock, so I just haven't used it yet.
I don't have one of those. I need to get one.
I should just do that. Kevin said it's super easy to hook up and do this, and I hooked it up and I can't get it to work. I got frustrated after 5 minutes of monkeying with it, so I gave up.
That might be a skill issue.
I think it's a TV issue because it's not being recognized on my TV. But
Steam Deck elitists over here rubbing it into the peasants that we are.
Oh my goodness, I hardly touch it anymore. I need to go back and finish Prince of Persia. Anyway, let's talk real quick about the finalists for the Video Game Hall of Fame, Here's a list of games that are up for nominations or whatever. Asteroids, a game called Elite, which I was not familiar with. Is that like the original Elite Dangerous, or I don't know what that is?
That's my guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard of it before. I just don't know specifics. I'm sure people listening are like, "What are you guys talking about? Is this?"
Yeah. Guitar Hero, the original Metroid, the original Myst, Neopets, the original Resident Evil, the original SimCity, Tokimeki Memorial, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Ultima, and You Don't Know Jack. I think it's a pretty solid list. I love seeing my Metroid on there because that game was pretty much a big deal for me, at least when I was a kid.
I lost so many hours of my life to Neopets when I was in elementary school.
What is because I'm is that the little like Tamagotchi kind of things?
You had to go on the website and you basically every day you'd go and you'd feed your Neopets and give them attention, and there were like mini games you could play. It's still going now. You can still play Neopets.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I have some friends I see on Facebook that still play it.
So they like have been keeping the same pets alive for the past 20 years?
Yeah.
Get
I'm sure mine have.
time.
I'm sure mine have died since I have not touched it since elementary school. But yeah, it's still going. Still going.
I'm shocked by how popular games that are chores are with people. Like Animal Crossing.
You probably get it to a routine, right?
Yeah, as a kid, like I'd be like, okay, here's my 5 hours to play Neopets after I get home from school. I'd also play it at school.
Oh, did you? I can't get my students to listen to me read to them for 5 minutes on a recording on YouTube and answer 3 comprehension questions. But
you should phrase it in Roblox.
Apparently.
That would help.
Dude, if I could figure out a way to do that, like just do homework assignments in Roblox. Oh! I need to crack that nut. Like that I think that's the next way to make education work. Virtual classrooms where we just all come in a classroom on there, and I can just mute them and they can pay attention and listen.
You turn in your homework and you get 1 V-buck.
Oh.
So over time, you can afford a character or something.
Okay,
dude,
that's an excellent incentive.
I think it had to be more like you turn in 10 assignments and you get a V-buck.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know what that. I don't really. All the skins are so outrageously priced now. That I don't know how far 1 V-buck gets you.
I don't know either.
I don't know the economics of it either. I was equating it to $1. Like $1.
I think it's closer to 1 cent.
Oh, okay. Well, that's you get a V-buck. Then are they in hundreds or whatever?
I don't know. So. Yeah.
Anyway, we got off the.
Yeah.
Anyway, video game finalists.
Hall of Fame.
Right.
I was looking at this, and in the story where I read it, I was looking back at last year's winners, and I hate like being that guy, but I looked at the list last year, and some of the ones that lost to like the Barbie dress your character game on PC.
That's also one I played religiously.
Yeah, I think that one's important to young girls.
Yeah,
because I had heard about that game.
But I mean, I'm gonna be upset and weirded out if a game like, sorry, Alyssa, Neopets or
I don't care.
Tokimeki Memorial is gonna beat out like Metroid or Resident Evil or Asteroids or something. Because here's the thing: is like so many of these games that have been finalists in years past. Are they up for consideration again? Or if you're a finalist once and you don't win, are you just never able to be a finalist again? I don't know how it works.
I feel like Guitar Hero has been on there, nominated multiple times.
Has it?
Surely
so I feel like they can be renominated.
There must be some kind of cooling down period. I mean, if you're talking about like historical value, it almost seems like Ultima should win for being such an important early RPG. Like you wouldn't have Final Fantasy without Ultima.
Right.
So I feel like, that if it was my heart, I got to give it Tony Hawk Pro Skater, man. Come on. Those games are incredible.
Why? And is it just one that goes? I feel like there was 5 or 6 last year that went. That,
I thought it was about 3 that are selected, but I can be wrong.
I think there's 3 finalists, right? And then they decide the Hall of Fame. The committee decides the Hall of Fame entrant.
So there's only one entrant every year. Is that?
I think so, yes.
So there's 3 finalists and then
Look at us talking about something we don't know.
Well, I mean, I've got the notes here that say exactly what you guys are saying. It goes down to 3. Like the population is going to, like the public is going to vote, and they're going to take the top 3, and then more or less a panel is going to vote for the top 1, and then.
So the question is, what are the 3 most popular games here with current audiences? So it's Resident Evil, Neopets probably.
You think really?
I think it is important to a whole generation of people you don't understand.
Okay.
And
I would probably say if it's open to the public that Resident Evil, Guitar Hero will probably get voted. And,
I mean, SimCity could get in there because a lot of people played that.
Yeah,
I never did.
The most recent entry, made so many people mad.
Well, this would be the original, though.
No, I understand that. I'm saying it's popularity in the current zeitgeist is what's important here.
Yeah,
because as with anything, this is a popularity contest if it's open to the public.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think Ultima is the one that deserves.
Yeah.
To deserve in terms of importance. Although you could say the same thing for Resident Evil or.
But I would be hesitant to use Resident Evil because there are several horror games that predate it.
That's true.
In terms of Hall of Fame.
But Resident Evil popularized the genre.
Sure it did, yeah. But you don't want to discredit Alone in the Dark here.
Mm-hmm. But Guitar Hero was the first to do that, right?
That was obvious. That was a revolutionary video game.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you have it. That is the week's news. We're going to do some quick housekeeping. Remind everybody about Patreon. If you'd like to help support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. Depending on the tier that you choose, you could get access to some bonus episodes right now. You can download at this moment our latest Peace of Mind episode. That's where Alyssa, Zack, and I sit down and talk about whatever is on our minds that may or may not be directly video game related. As usual, it was a lot of fun. Also, our Meet the Patrons episode. That's where I met with Joel, Christina, and CJ for my Friday online crew. That was a lot of fun. And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people saying that was it was really fun to listen to. So, and keep in mind, if you subscribe today and you've not had any access, not only do you get access to those episodes that I mentioned, now you get back access to our entire back catalog. We've been doing this for 5 years now, Zach? So 5 years of content, 2 episodes each month. There's going to be plenty for you to catch up and listen to. And I feel like, unlike these episodes, those episodes are evergreen. They're not necessarily tied to a specific time period. You can listen to them at any time, and they're really good. And speaking of, we got some upcoming episodes as well. We're going to sit down with Brandon Smith, at least Zach and I, depending on, I guess, if Alyssa finishes it before the end of the month.
Well, that would be pretty impressive.
That would be impressive.
Yeah, I doubt I will, so I'll probably have to miss out on it.
So we're going to do a spoiler cast on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There's going to be lots of things to talk about on that. Kevin and I are working on a trade-off episode. He's going to play Paper Mario, the original, for the first time, and I'm going to play a game called Evolution: The World of Sacred Device. It's another Dreamcast JRPG that he wants me to play. And then at some point, I'm going to convince Zach to actually play the original Lone Ranger on NES.
Or we can convince Scott to finish the Sands of Time game he started.
Exactly. Dude, if it weren't for Final Fantasy VII, you know what? I'm going to make a promise to you. I'm going to finish it over spring break.
Okay,
I'm here. I am witnessing this.
When is spring break?
It starts on Friday.
Okay.
So
what are the consequences if you don't?
I'm
Zach,
not doing
what
a
are the
slap
consequences?
bet with you.
I don't want to slap bet. I'm not CB.
Steak dinner.
I'll take one hetero-erotic kiss.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it on my mind.
All right. Anyway, if any of those episodes interest you and you'd like to help us out, basically, think of it like tipping the podcast. If you like the show, like what we do, and you'd like to thank us, head over to patreon.com/thegocast. Now let's go ahead and jump into the new games that we've been playing. Zach, tell us what's coming out this week for us to play.
Sure, you got a big 3-way battle on March 22nd between Dragon's Dogma 2, which is coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. Princess Peach Showtime coming to the Switch, and Rise of the Ronin comes to PS5. That's a whole lot of video games on March 22nd.
Yeah.
But also on March 22nd, The Legend of Legacy HD Remastered, JRPG Remaster coming to PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC March 22nd. As we just talked about, Grandy HD Collection makes its way to PS4 and Xbox One on March 26th. South Park Snow Day is the latest South Park video game entry, though not an RPG this time. Because of PS5, Xbox Series consoles, Switch, and PC, March 26th. Sunny Cafe, a visual novel about running a cafe, comes to all consoles, March 27th. Terra Memoria, PS1 throwback kind of RPG, coming to all consoles and PC, March 27th. This one is just for Alyssa.
I know.
Mota Solo, a No Girlfriend Since Birth, is an FMV kind of choose your own adventure story that aims to place you in the middle of a K-drama. So, Korean drama. So just nailing it, just pointing right at Alyssa with that one. Comes to PS4 March 28th. Felix the Cat gets resurrected onto PS5, PS4, and Switch March 28th. Open Roads, which I could have swore came out like 2 years ago, but I guess, because it was at the Game Awards like 3 or 4 years ago.
It was announced and then it disappeared and then it came back. Yeah.
But this is a kind of a hand-drawn art style, another choose your own adventure story, but it stars Kerry Russell and Caitlin Dever in the lead roles as a mother.
And the animation looks like Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like a very throwback art style, which is cool. But Open Roads comes to all consoles and PC March 28th. And then Pepper Grinder, action platformer that's been getting a lot of buzz, comes to Switch and PC March 28th. I assume we're all probably just going to keep playing Final Fantasy VII. But if you were playing something new, Alyssa, what would you be playing?
Okay, well,
Wonder.
Well, there are 4 games here that actually pique my interest. Of course, I mentioned earlier, I do want to play the Grandia HD collection at some point, because I've heard amazing things about those games.
Sure.
Sunny Cafe, I mean, it's a visual novel, and you're working at a cafe.
Right.
I mean, I like games like Coffee Talk and Valhalla, so...
It's becoming its own subgenre at this point.
Yes, it really is. That's a good point, yeah.
Of course, I would be remiss not to mention Montesoro, No Girlfriend Since Birth, since Zack put that on there just for me.
Of course.
And I mean,
you informed me before the show about what Mote Solo translates into.
Yeah, it's the title twice over. No Girlfriend Since Birth, No Girlfriend Since Birth.
That's so weird.
It's funny.
But it's a full motion video. It's basically a K-drama as a video game. I gotta check it out one day. And then, of course, Open Roads, because it just seems like something I'd enjoy.
Yeah, what about you, Scott?
Pepper Grinder.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, that screams Scott to me.
Oh my god. I've realized after watching this video and after playing games like, oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of it now. What's the steampunk, SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Dig 2 and, Dig Dug. I like digging through stuff in video games.
Scott Clark, fan of digging.
Yeah. And this game looks to be doing it with platforming instead of just digging down under the ground. And well,
it's kind of cool because it looks like you're almost using your digging momentum to progress, which is cool.
Plus, it's got that collecting gems and stuff where they just come like around you, and that there's something cathartic about that collecting goodies. I don't know, like in the Lego games when you would break something apart and then they just all kind of suck up to you. I absolutely love that, and I have to play this game. I wish it were coming on console as well, but I'll have to pick it up on Switch.
It probably will come to console eventually.
Yeah, I keep kicking myself because games like this I would rather play on my Xbox, like you said, for achievements. Mm-hmm. Like Dave the Diver is coming to console. I'm not going to play through it again.
Right.
There's just no. I played that game for a long time.
There's a whole lot of game.
It's a lot bigger than I expected that game to be, but. Who knows? Maybe it'll be good enough, and I could play through it twice. But again, that's silly. I
mean, but you also get Godzilla with the console.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I keep talking about buying Balatro again, just so I can be able to play that portably. Mm-hmm. That one makes sense a little bit if you bought it on console, and then you can buy it, and then you buy it a second time so that you can play it somewhere else as well. That makes sense. But for me to have it already portably and then convince myself to buy it a second time just so I can get achievements. Feels, like I would regret it, but I don't know.
I get it. Yeah, makes sense in my brain.
It would make you feel foolish.
Yeah. Anyway, Pepper Grinder is the one for sure. Although I would be really intrigued by Dragon's Dogma 2 if I weren't in the middle of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because whenever I do
really
finish
good things about the first game, but I never played it. I did watch the really crappy anime of it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, on Netflix?
Yeah, avoid it. It's just looking at it is awful. They mix 2D and 3D together for some reason, visuals. And it's just so ugly.
Yeah.
I have to see that just to see what that sounds like.
Oh, it rarely
It's weird.
Works. Yeah.
So, yeah, I would be more interested in that if it weren't for everything else going on. But, Zach, what about you? Anything on here?
I think I would be interested in Dragon's Dogma 2, but I feel weird not having finished the first one because I started it. So, for some reason, but I hit a game-breaking bug that ruined my save file.
Oh, no.
So I just stopped playing it, but I was having quite a bit of fun with it. So therefore, for some reason, it cripples me and makes me unable to play the second game until I finish the first. So there's that.
I get that too.
But in terms of releases this week, I think Open Rose looks very interesting, and I'm kind of curious about what took so long with this one, and to see if it pays off. But I think really the thing I'm most interested in is Grandia HD Collection, just because of the constant praise I've heard for Grandia 2, and then doubly so when Kevin came onto the podcast and he did the little game exchange with you as well. Just heard a lot of good things about it.
We could also do like a break the seal for Grandia 1, because I still have yet to play that one. I already own it, so we could.
Well, I gotta play 2 first. I gotta.
No, I know. I'm not talking like right away. I'm saying down the road, but yeah, that'd be fun. It's so weird that Felix the cat is coming to console. That's like a random pull.
It is
to me.
Yeah.
I have it on the NES, like right over there, but just don't get it.
It's published by Limited Run, right? I think they're just getting weird games back. Can't wait for their Gex re-release.
Yep.
Hey, I would play that because I actually really loved that game when I was a kid.
So
the first one, at least. I never played the sequels.
I mean, it looks. You don't know, Jack. I feel like has turned more into like the Jackbox game. Like I like the variety of those more than just the original Jackbox games were just straight trivia. And I still feel like I like those on the collections, but I like that there's more choices with the more modern ones. So there you have it. Well, in terms of new games that we've been playing, the three of us have played nothing new. We've been catching up on the massive releases that we've been talking about, but
we've been stuck in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and we got a couple guys that stopped by to talk to us. Spencer Cushing, who reviewed Brews and Bastards for us a few weeks ago, stops by, as well as Jacob Gunderson. The two of them have a couple games. I'm going to play this for you right now. Well, how about a blast from the past? Spencer Cushing, how you doing, man?
Oh, great. Blast from the past. What, am I old?
No, I feel like we haven't had you on in like forever. It's been a minute since we've had you talking here about a game.
Actually, I wasn't. I was here not too long ago. About Brews and Bastards.
Oh yeah, I guess my bad. You're just that forgettable. I don't.
Ouch.
Who could forget a face like that? Well, my apologies. So anyway, also joining us is Jake Gunderson. Jake, what's up?
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Living, surviving, the dream, the whole thing. You guys are here to talk to us about a couple games you've been checking out, and we're going to start with Spencer, because Spencer, this game you're reviewing, I'm legit jealous that you got to review this one, because this looks like a Scott Clark game. If I've ever seen one, it looks like so much fun. The game is called Metal Mind. You're playing it on Switch. It comes from developer, Whirlaxy Studio. Is published by 2P Games and was provided to us by Stride PR. So shout out to those guys for hooking you up with a copy. So tell everybody what this game is, because I want to play this and I want to know if it's as awesome as it looks.
Okay, so Metal Minds is a top-down shooter, and it's pretty much like a roguelike. So if you like Hades, which I absolutely loved that game, that was one of my favorite Switch games that I played within the last 2 years maybe, or a year. Anyways, so Metal Mind, when I saw the video for this, I thought, man, this would be a great game to play, and it turns out it is a really fun game. It matches a lot of modding. You can mod everything on yourself, like you're a robot in the game. So you can mod your head, your torso, your legs, how you drive around, and your weapons. So there's a lot to it. I have not gotten very far. I got to the third boss, and as you all know, if you play any of these roguelike games, once you die, you go right back to the beginning.
Right.
And now you have to just do it all over again. And now I can't even beat the first boss again.
But do you keep anything, or are you starting fresh?
You start completely fresh. The only thing that you keep are these like tokens. They're like, I don't know what they're technically called, but they're red tokens. And those are to build mods outside, like to get more strength, more structure. You can mod your body into being like more armor based rather than weapon based, which kind of helps in some runs, but not always, because there are some robots that come after you and they will chomp at you like little dogs. I call them the dogs of hell, honestly, because they are the worst. I think I die more from those enemies than any other enemy. But yeah, it's a really fun game, and I think one of my favorites is the boss battles, because the very first boss is a gorilla robot. So he stomps his chest, hits his chest, and then throws bananas, and then throws rocks at you, kind of like Donkey Kong would with barrels. Right. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Now, so I just want to be clear. There are permanent upgrades then. So there are things that will make the next run a little bit easier, but everything you collected outside of the red things that you're talking about are not permanent. But there is some incentive to collect those to keep going. You're going to have a better time or easier time next time, right?
Yes, correct. So, so when you collect those little red tokens, those can be used towards 0.2% health every time, extra health you get every time you die, or 0.5% of armor structure. Gotcha. So yeah, it does help, and over time, obviously, it builds up so that one of your runs could be completely all the way through and without skipping a beat.
I like to hear that at least, because I'm not a big fan of the ones where you start over
completely
fresh with nothing to make it easier. That's the fun of these games is a run when a run never feels wasted. You know what I mean? Where like I did it, I didn't make it, but at least I got something to make the next run a little bit easier. That is what I like in these kinds of games.
Yeah.
The other question I've got for you has to do with the controls, because the trailer that I watched says it was for the Switch, but it was moving a cursor around almost like a mouse.
Yep.
So I'm curious, is this a twin stick shooter, or is this you point a reticle in the direction that I'm not understanding how it works.
That's a really good question. It's not two joysticks. It's just the one. It'd be the right side joystick, and that one's just for aiming at your enemies. It does have auto aim on some stuff if you get close enough, but the further you are away from that enemy, obviously it will not auto aim. So
right.
It is kind of tricky. You have to get to the point where while you're running with the left joystick, you have to shoot with your right joystick, which is a big pain in the butt. But once you get used to it, it makes things easier.
Okay. So it works out that. Interesting. So are you recommending people check this one out? Is it addicting as it looks?
Yeah, it is really fun. If you like Hades, like I said, this would probably be your next pick. It's only $15 right now, so that's a steal, I think, for such a good game.
Nice. It looks like a game up my alley. I liked Hades. It didn't grab me as much as everybody else for some reason. I don't know what it was. I'm not a big fan of where you have to dodge a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like where you have to like dodge and roll out of the way. I don't know, which is weird because you did that in Ember Knights, and I love that game. So yeah. I don't know.
And you do have to do that a lot in this game as well. You have to dodge, and it does get tricky because there's not a lot of places to hide from. While you're running around, you have to use your environment properly.
Right. Okay. Well, again, that is Metal Mind. Is it? I think it's only available on Switch. Or maybe it's PC as well.
I don't know for sure. Maybe we should, but I do believe it's on the Switch.
I know. Yeah, it's obviously on the Switch because that's where you're playing it. But we'll have to look it up and see if it is on other platforms as well. So, well, thanks for checking that one out, man. It sounds pretty good. I am intrigued to try that one. Let's go over to Jacob. He's playing a game on PC called Planetsmith. This is developed by Incandescent Games. They also published it. And Stride PR also provided you with a copy of this one. So talk to me about Planetsmith, because I'm getting all kinds of Minecraft vibes from the trailer. What is this game, or what is it promising to do?
The game promises to be a lot like Minecraft. It promises, building and exploration and forging of new weapons to allow your yourself easier access to the world and, finding new and hidden treasures. The problem with the demo that I received was that there's not any of that content in the game yet.
Mm-hmm. So you're not playing the full game. You're just playing a demo.
Yeah. So there's not a lot to talk about.
Right.
It's basically just, Minecraft with a muzzle. So you kind of move a couple of things around. You're allowed to select blocks and make things. I made a little house. I explore the world as much as possible. There's not really anything to explore in the demo. There's no random constructions. There's, whatever. There are a couple of things that I find, really frustrating with the game at times. The water mechanic in the game. If you remember kind of the beginning of Minecraft many years ago, when you would go into the water, it would change everything to blue. When you go under the water, it changes everything back to normal color. If you're over the water, it turns everything pink.
Is the air pink? I don't understand.
No, the air is blue, but everything under the water is pink. And then when you go into the water, everything turns back to normal color. If you are in an ice area and it turns into night, the ice perfectly reflects the sky, and so you can't see anything. You can't tell where the horizon is. You can't tell you can see where plants are, but if there's nothing on the horizon, like trees or whatever, there's nothing to see. You can't see cliffs in the ground. You can't see cliffs to jump over. There's only the reflection. And so
very confused.
I didn't know that this happened. You spawn in morning, and you get so many minutes of daytime. And so I just kind of ran around and I built a little house in the middle of this ice area, whatever. And when I tried to leave my house to go explore in the night, I was completely lost. I knew where my house was, but I couldn't see anything where I was going. They give you a mini map, and so you could head in one direction, but there's basically no visual indication. Things. There's no visual kind of things to see to know where you're going. You just kind of have everything.
Like landmarks.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of wandering and then just following your map. Okay, I'm confused. It sounds like this is very, very early, and there's still a lot more things coming because the trailer looks like Minecraft on your own individual planet. Like you're kind of just like constructing, building.
It is. Once you go like so far north, you go to the south. And so it does wrap around. You can do all this kind of stuff, and you are on your own individual planet. And then if you like were to use a new planet, all of your stuff is gone, and then it seeds a new planet. Okay. But yeah, very small company. They're based out of New Zealand. They say early access for this game will be released sometime in 2024.
So it's not even in early access yet. This is just a very, very early demo.
Yeah, it's a very early demo. I was actually hesitant to do the review for this game because I didn't want to steer anyone away from this game being it seems like it's just creative mode and it doesn't actually highlight any of the things that this game wants to be or is capable of.
Gotcha. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. It sounds like something that could be interesting if you're into Minecraft.
I go back and forth every now and then. I go back to it. I played it probably roughly for an hour when I first got it. Found that there was nothing there. Researched a little bit about it, and then I went back to it about a week ago and replayed it. And it was the exact same game. So waiting for the early access to come out, and want to see what it's capable of before I actually give it an actual review.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Well, thanks for the heads up, and keep us posted on Planetsmith because I think it sounds like it has some promise. There's just not a whole lot there at the moment.
Right.
Okay. Well, very cool. Jake, thanks for checking that one out. And Spencer, thank you for checking out Metal Mind. By the way, I checked it out. It is on Switch, PC, and Xbox. So if you are interested in that game, and that's music to my ears. Maybe I'll get it on Xbox then. Once the games die down, I have so much to play right now and no time to do it. So
stop playing Final Fantasy.
Dude, I'm trying to be done with Final Fantasy. I'm in chapter 10 of 14.
Well, hurry up.
I'm trying, man. I played it for 2 hours this week, and that's it because, jobs.
Stop playing mini games.
Yeah, I have been. I've been just like mainlining, dude. It's like all I've been doing. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for taking the time to stop by. I appreciate it. We'll check with you guys later. All right?
No problem. Have a good night.
All right, real quick before we move on, I want to tell you guys about how you can follow us online. We've got a Facebook group. facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. We got a couple new members over there, Josh Hurton and Chris Hurting. I don't know if it was a typo for the first Josh, because I know that Josh is the son of Chris. Josh was actually a student at my school. So they're both in the group, but I'm not sure what that's about. Anyway, also on Discord, we got a new member by the name of Mike M. He joined the Discord group, and in fact, this is a guy I met with. We had a little conference call. Kevin and I had a conference call with him. He is the owner of Yeti T-shirts, Yetee. I don't know if you guys have heard of Yeti before. Yes, no, maybe so.
No, nope.
He's not paying me to say this. This is not a sponsor. But we've purchased their shirts in the past, and they do a really a cool spread of video game T-shirts on their website. I would highly recommend checking it out. It is theyetee.com, THEYETEE.com. And then if you go there /collections, there's Mega Man T-shirts, there's Contra T-shirts, Shovel Knight Dig. There's all kinds of stuff, and they do a really good job. There's one, Zach, that I think you would. You didn't like Binding of Isaac, but I like Binding of Isaac, and they did the Binding of Isaac, but they made it look like the Legend of Zelda logo. So instead of the Legend of Zelda, it says the Binding of Isaac, but it's all like the crazy critters from that game. I'm real close to pulling.
Instead of the Master Sword through the logo, is it just a giant turd?
No, there's no poop on the shirt, but
well, then that's not a fair representation of the game. Then
I like that game. Shut up.
There is still a lot of poop, though. Either way,
that is
true. I have played that game, and there is a crap ton of poop. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
So
I pulled a Scott Clark.
No, but seriously, check it out if you guys get a chance. It's I've been real close to pulling the trigger on a Doki Doki Literature Club. We were actually talking about this.
You
one.
sent me the picture of that. I love that shirt. I haven't played the game, but I love that shirt and the color.
It's very pink. I'd have to wear it on a Wednesday, but
pink's my favorite color. So I mean,
it's a good shirt. I might prefer it if it was just Monica.
There you go. Just have a picture of Monica would be awesome.
See what I did there?
Anyway, check out his website if you get a chance. If you follow Wario64, you might have seen his stuff posted all the time. They did a really cool. I don't think they're available right now, but they did this whole where they redid popular metal album covers, but they did them in the version of video games. There was one that was I almost bought it, and I regret that I didn't because it was a timed release. But there was a Black Sabbath album that they redid with Samus's helmet, and it was really, really awesome. I'm kind of regretting not buying that one, but
they should do a Brutal Legend shirt.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It would be.
So again, theyetee.com, THEYETEE.com. Again, that is a straight up recommendation. They are not they're not sponsoring us. They're not paying me.
Dude, it sounds an awful lot like a commercial.
It's really not. It's really not. Anyway, also if you want to do us a favor, drop us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to the show. It helps us get the word out there. And lastly, check out our website, thegamingoutsider.com. That's where you can listen to all of our episodes if you're not subscribed anywhere else. You can also read our written reviews, and we got some new content out there. Zach's review of Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is up. Mark's review of Psychiatrist Simulator 2, Rel's review of The Thaumaturge, and Alyssa's review of Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, all available again at thegamingoutsider.com. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is all Zack and I can seem to think about, and apparently Alyssa too, which is why we came up with this week's From the Outside In topic. We wanted to discuss villains that we love to hate in video games, particularly organizations that come across as the most selfish entities in the world. Obviously, we've been throwing around Shinra quite a bit. It's bringing me back to my 20 years ago self that was playing through Final Fantasy VII. So I want to know with you guys first, which kind of protagonist do you prefer to fight against in games? Do you like going against the individual named villains, or do you like these faceless organizations? And whichever one you do like better, what makes them easier to despise? Zach?
Well, I think easier to despise is a corporation because, or the faceless organization, because often they're ruining the world in the name of corporate greed. Much like real life. And,
yeah, exactly.
So it's pretty easy to hate the Shinras or Umbrellas of the world. But I think overall, I prefer going up against an individual, or maybe like an individual and a couple of his pals or something like that. is generally going to be more interesting to me. I really love a recurring villain in a game. Somebody that you have four or five boss fights against. Or you keep facing down, like the second sister in Fallen Order comes to mind because you face off against her 3 or 4 times in the game, and it helps to sell your character's progress against theirs, and it also builds a rivalry between you. Because I often find video games have something of a villain problem in that, because you got to make sure the player feels like they've won at the end, so the villain's almost always got to be defeated and gotten rid of. So you don't, and because you're usually locked into your character's perspective. A lot of games you're not seeing a lot of the villain, so even if they are memorable, you don't really get to learn too much about them unless it's through like text logs or something like that.
Right.
It's so like when they're a more constant presence, like maybe an Andrew Ryan or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely an individual over an organization is going to be more appealing to me. It's nice to have a face to the villainy,
Well, the nice thing with Rebirth is or Final Fantasy VII in general, is you get both of them, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You get Shinra and Sephiroth, so yeah. What about you, Alyssa?
It's pretty much what Zack said. It's easier to, despise the organization, but I prefer facing a named individual, or like Zack said, a couple of their, their pals or cronies or whatever you want to call them. I don't know, I just find it easier to connect that way with the villain if it's a singular named person instead. But the corporation obviously is more despicable in my viewpoint. But yeah, I'd rather go up against one single villain or their buddies rather than the organization itself.
Gotcha. I think with the faceless organization, it's a situation where sometimes things like that hit too close to home in real life. That it's just like translating those feelings we already have in real life to a video game. Whereas with a named character or antagonist with a face, that there's like some kind of revenge thing especially involved. It's more fun to hate that just because we don't get to act out on those kinds of things in real life. You know what I mean? There's not much we can do with the nameless corporations except for, pay with or answer with our wallet or vote with our wallet or something like that, or, make some social media posts and say we don't like this. We're not going to go blow up a reactor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Scream their name at the sky while shaking our fists.
I'm starting to think about blowing up some reactors.
Yeah. So yeah, I really do like it when it's that there is actual a face and a name to put to it, a specific person, and sometimes that face or name is attached to the corporation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a problem with that too, because somebody like Rufus Shinra is just so handsome that I don't want to hate him.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Such a beautiful man.
Every time a villain's handsome, it's like, oh no, I like you, but I gotta fight you too.
Doesn't Rufus give you Cypher vibes in this game a little bit?
I guess a similar design, yeah. Well, Nomura probably designed them both, right?
Right, but I just never...
You can tell Nomura was involved because he's got 17 belts on for no reason.
I don't think I've come across Rufus yet, so I'm very intrigued to see what he looks like.
Okay.
I think you're going to agree with me. He's a sexy man.
Oh, I'm sure. We have similar tastes, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to agree with you.
And I don't feel like I hate him as much as I did here than in the original.
Yeah,
he was a bastard in the original, but I'm not going to say redeeming qualities, but I don't know. There's stuff going on. Anyway. So yeah, I definitely do like having the face to it because it feels more personal. A corporation is doing something to everybody, but when a villain is doing something to my character, or if the character is me doing something to me, it feels more like my story instead of everybody else's. So I kind of, and that makes me sound selfish, but I don't mean it to sound selfish. So what are some of the best villains you guys have come across in games that make it so easy to hate them? Alyssa?
Well, for me, I would say Sephiroth, but I really don't know much about him because I never got to play the original version of Final Fantasy VII, so I don't know his full story yet.
Did you play through the remake all the way?
I did play all the way through the remake, and then I'm playing, obviously, this one now, Rebirth. I mean, but also it's partially just because he's very handsome. I would gladly take 19 inches of him.
Just like
I had to make that stupid joke. I had to make it.
Oh, I was not expecting those words to come out of your mouth.
But I can't, in good faith, list him because I don't know his full story yet. I don't have that experience. But
you will despise him, yet respect him, and kind of
curse you for being handsome.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mean, he definitely does some stuff that is like, what are you thinking,
well, I mean,
dude?
already in this game, I won't say anything, but like, I've already seen some really crappy stuff. Okay. But actual games I've played that I've got knowledge of the characters more fully fleshed out. Definitely Albert Wesker's one, just because he doesn't start out as a villain, and then he's just a recurring villain.
He was. We just didn't know he was a villain, right?
We thought he was different.
Never trust anybody that wears sunglasses inside.
That's true. That's true. That's a very valuable lesson. Also, I really like GLaDOS. She's not really technically a threat to you, but I mean, she makes fun of you the entire time, demeans you.
When she tells you that your parents are probably happy that they put you up for adoption, that felt pretty,
she hurts your soul.
That's pretty evil.
She's not like really physically hurting you, but I mean, the emotional wounds almost hurt worse than the physical wounds.
My favorite line is when she says, "Waddle on over here," because she's making fun of how overweight you are, or whatever.
I mean, she's basically just gaslighting us the entire time, but we love her. We love her so much for some reason. She's just iconic.
She's very. I love to hate her. Yeah, because like everything that comes out of her mouth feels like comedy gold. But,
yeah, she also ripped away my companion cube. I also really this is just based off nostalgia, but Natla from the original Tomb Raider, always loved her as a child, as a boss, you know, especially at the end.
Sure.
Just a soft spot in my heart for Natla because I did love to hate her. Like I despised her, but at the same time I'm like, she's so cool. I feel like I had another one and it just left my brain. I do love the BioShock twist. It would be a spoiler to say it. I mean, I'm sure most people have played BioShock.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, would you kindly?
Say, would you kindly keep the spoiler to yourself, please?
Yes. I'll just say that. Would you kindly?
I get yelled at when we don't spoil stuff.
Right.
I know. But we'd also get yelled at if we did spoil stuff. So it's lose-lose.
Yeah.
That was my list.
Yeah. Maybe future topics like this, you should probably just put a blanket statement at the top saying, "Hey, if you hear the name of a game you're worried about spoilers for, maybe fast forward."
Skip ahead.
I'm gonna say it right now because I actually have a question in this. So if you have not finished the original BioShock, I want you to skip ahead about 45 seconds because yes, Scott Clark wants to talk about a spoiler. So here we go. The original BioShock. Which are you talking? Are you talking about Andrew Ryan or are you talking about Atlas or?
It's more rewarding with Andrew Ryan just because you know from the start, but the twist with Fontaine or Atlas, that's what really like blew me away was that twist, realizing the whole time you've been manipulated.
Right, and that voice change, just made me go, "This guy that was been my buddy through this entire thing is now my mortal enemy." And man, I actually recently reread or re-listened to that book Rapture. Mm-hmm. Where you kind of, you hear about his becoming who he is and then playing the game and realizing, oh, that's what happened. Just really don't like that guy. Just want him dead.
Good book.
And then it has that disappointing final boss fight, which is like,
that's the only thing that is a ding against it. But just, I don't know, just the emotional impact it has on you when you realize you've been manipulated all along.
Mm-hmm.
It's more powerful than just, going up against Andrew Ryan.
Yep. Because going against Andrew Ryan wasn't even really a fight.
I mean, and also you knew it was going to happen. So.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Anyway, guys are in safe now. No spoiler territory. Yeah. Zach, what about you, man?
Well, we'll say I'm slightly unprepared for this topic because I really thought we were talking about organizations exclusively.
Most of mine are. I kind of stuck to that. I've got a couple that are not, but yeah.
Cause
it was tougher to come up with than I thought it was going to be.
Organization, yeah, because I feel like we've talked about villains before, so I thought the organizations was a fun spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
But really, you say, what villains you come across that make them easy to hate, and I say the best villains make it difficult to hate them.
Oh, okay,
that's a good point.
If you can agree maybe with their viewpoint or see
like
them
Thanos.
Sure. Well, yeah, dude, who knew he was the hero the whole time?
I know.
Or if you can just see them as people, or because like a character like Dutch van der Linde, it might be easy to paint as a villain, but when you really get to know him, he's really just a man. Just
Who's
a
that?
complicated Dutch in
Red Dead
Redemption. Okay, yeah.
Dutch van der Linde. Because it's easy to hate a character like Micah, obviously, but a character like Dutch is harder. Or a mini JRPG villain, I guess. You learn the motivation in the end.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really need to go through and finish Red Dead Redemption 2 after hearing you gush about it.
You should.
It's an amazing game.
But in terms of organizations, I will say for one thing, Organization 13 sucks. They ruined Kingdom Hearts. The first game was cool. Just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
All right.
If you want to do a shady organization correctly, part of what is entrancing me so much about these Trails games is the villainous faction of Ouroboros and whatever they're up to, because they seem to be collecting some ancient artifacts that we still don't know what they're all about. And, if you're somehow interested in Trails in the Sky, skip ahead 30 seconds. But, it was very refreshing at the end of the first arc that they win. They get everything they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of cool. I don't feel like you see that a lot. Like, you don't see Umbrella usually win in the end of a game.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of cool to see this Ouroboros faction have so cleverly thought ahead that they had a contingency for you stopping this one member in place. It was just really cool to see. But then of course Shinra is obvious. They're so much fun, and they're interesting because it's been almost 30 years since that first game came out, and yet what they're doing is more relevant than ever.
Seriously, I keep thinking that while I'm playing. Like, I'm playing this game and seeing the things that they're learning what Shinra is doing, and it makes me hate them so much more than I did when I was a kid. And I think it's because it mirrors a lot of reality.
The trajectory of our own planet.
Seriously.
It's a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, dude, it's a little depressing. But then two factions I really wanted to call out was the Covenant and Halo. Because especially Halo 1 through 3 are so interesting as you learn more about, how they're essentially just religious fanatics, and that they think the Halo rings are these holy relics or these holy artifacts, but really they're galactic scale doomsday weapons. I thought that was always very interesting, and all their like the Prophet of Truth and all those guys.
But then you find out that they're not even like the real villain in the first game, which was like a cool.
With the flood.
Yeah, that was a fun twist.
Well, they are still the villain,
right?
It's just the flood are the flood are a bigger concern. That's all,
right?
Yeah, and then I feel like, like Halo 4 onwards, it's just started getting so complicated with the different enemy factions, and they seem to expect you to read all the books and comics to keep up with what's happening. Or if you want to know who the villain is in Halo Infinite, you have to play Halo Wars 2. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Completely different genre of game.
Yeah, but let's do essential setup there. That'll work. But then I gotta give a shout out to the Locust, dude.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, man.
I didn't either.
We talk about Gears of War to death, but the Locusts are an interesting hive mind, and you get those slow teases throughout the original trilogy about what their origins are, or if they came from the moon, or what's going on with their queen. You get those, she gives those. She like intro and outros almost every game, right? The Locust Queen.
Well, even when you're playing multiplayer, like if you were playing as the Cog and the enemy wins, and then she just berates you, like it just makes you hate her so much because she just taunts you and just does it in this very condescending, arrogant.
Right.
Oh,
but they it's so wonderful because you hate her before you ever meet her. Like 2 games before you meet her, you already hate her to death. It just works out very well. Yeah, a lot of cool intrigue with them, and then even when they come back as more the Lambent Locusts in the sequels, I found them to still be interesting, which is pretty impressive. And it's just what a terrifying concept that the alien destructive force is not coming from the skies, but it's coming from the very planet you've always lived on.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't that a what was the movie? Where that was a movie too, was it? Like the old from the 40s movie?
I have no idea.
About locusts?
No. Where they're worried about the aliens. The aliens were actually underground and they just emerged from underground. It's like a famous movie. Tom Cruise did the remake of it, like back in the early 2000s. War of the Worlds, yeah. Like those didn't come from the sky. They came from underground, right?
Is
like they were, yeah.
I thought they did come from the sky. I think. Maybe I
I haven't seen the original version. I've only seen the Tom Cruise version.
Well, it's a little bit of both, because in War of the Worlds, they're underground, but the aliens themselves come from, they pass down through lightning, so the actual carrier or the aliens inside the machines are transported down through lightning underground. But yeah,
shame they didn't account for the common cold.
Yeah. Is that your last one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Most of mine are pretty obvious, but I mean, I could talk about Umbrella. Alyssa talked about Andrew Ryan, but Vault Tech. We talk about Vault Tech for a second.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
This company that basically incited a war, nuclear war, so that they could, number one, sell vaults, and number two, test people on it. Which
I will say this: if Walton Goggins was the guy making me the sales pitch on the vault, I too would have signed up.
My God, I can't wait for that show, dude. It's gonna be so good.
It looks so good.
It does.
Yeah.
My thing is like, if the world is destroyed, if it's post-apocalyptic, what are you testing these people for? Like, what is your end goal? Like, how are you going to come out on top if you're?
Yeah, the stock market has crashed.
It doesn't exist.
It's just because people are jerks.
Yeah. Another one that was on my list was, and I don't know if this really counts, because it comes across as more of just a singular villain, but I think of it as a collective, and Mother Brain from the original Metroid.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because it's just like the nerve center of the space pirates, right? And the first time you played through the original Metroid, you had no idea. You knew you were fighting against something called Mother Brain, but you didn't know what it was. And you just kind of thought as a kid that, like, oh, it's not going to be a brain. And then you get there and it's a brain. Was just kind of awesome. And I don't know, there's something cool about, like, killing the things that are connecting the brain and then getting in there and taking it out, and it destroys. And then in Super Metroid, you see it again, and then it kills the baby Metroid, so you just hate her even more. I thought that was cool. So, going back more for the corporation side, I got two more. Hyperion. I know you hate Borderlands, but Hyperion in the Borderlands games.
Yeah, I didn't even know what you're referring to.
Oh, okay. I think Handsome Jack being the face of Hyperion really makes you hate them, because you want to talk about a pompous, condescending a-hole.
Yeah.
And I love to hate him just because some of the stuff he says is really funny, at least in 2. I kind of got... There's another one, like, I consider him Handsome Jack 2 in Borderlands 3, that, like, they try and it's just not funny to me. But and then the last one, I don't even know if you guys remember this entity, but Fizco. Does that ring a bell?
Not off the top of my head.
The corporation Fizco that created the energy drinks in Sunset Overdrive.
Oh yeah, I was like, that sounds familiar, but I'm like racking my brain
because I haven't played it since launch. That game
came with my Xbox One.
That game was seriously underrated. I feel like nobody talks about that game, and I loved that game. It
was fun, yeah.
So yeah, Fizco creates this energy drink. They didn't test it before they put it out to the public, and then it turned everybody into, like, fungus zombies or whatever. Mm-hmm. And rather than stopping it, they just keep it flowing and just kill off everybody. Just like, yeah, of course we're gonna hate you there. So yeah, I don't know. That's my list. Like I said,
shout out to special villain in many a video game, the American government.
Yeah, it's true. Well, let's go over and talk about what our listeners had to say. We'll start over on Facebook. We posted our question on social media and got some responses from everybody. First off, Sean Coates over on Facebook says, I think Nazis would be an obvious answer. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Again, because
they don't, they're not intrinsically tied to video games, in your defense.
That's true. Yeah.
He says, but I'm specifically going with their more caricatured portrayal in the Wolfenstein series. There's nothing more satisfying than turning a Nazi soldier into a fine red mist with your retro-futuristic laser weapon. The way he put that is quite excellent.
Yes.
As for a specific character, I'm choosing Frau Engel from Wolfenstein 2, where she becomes a primary antagonist. She's so vicious even to her own daughter, to the point where she decides to defect. She's bad enough to make me wish I could leap through the screen and slash her throat or something every time she appears. Good call, Sean.
There is one character more evil in that game, and I'm not saying Adolf Hitler. I'm saying BJ's dad.
I don't remember what happened.
He sold out his own Jewish wife to the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So, real cool guy.
Yeah. Mm.
And then he calls BJ a coward to his face. Gets for not succumbing to the Nazi empire, basically.
Goodness.
Yeah, he's the worst guy in the whole franchise. Nazis, though, you can all agree. There's nothing better than killing Nazis.
Unfortunately, we can't all agree. We can't all
That's
agree
true.
here.
We can, not out in the world though.
Anyone sane can agree. Killing Nazis is one of the great American pastimes.
Oh my goodness, I love that movie.
It's such a great movie.
It's so good.
Buongiorno. Love that movie so much.
I know it's this point has been made to death, but that first 20 minutes really could just be a short film. It's so good.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And easily rewatchable. Just so tense.
Yes.
And
Christoph Waltz. How in the hell did Christoph Waltz pull off the charming Nazi?
Yeah.
Now that's not a phrase you should be able to say for any character ever.
Yeah. You liked him. I almost liked him less by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Zach, you want to take the next one?
Sure. Jumping over to Discord, Kevin Honigford writes in, my 13-year-old imagination went wild as Streets of Rage 2. Taking the Syndicate on the way to rescue my buddy was an amazing journey. Taking out Mr. X and putting that organization in its place was extremely satisfying.
I did that recently for a Break the Seal. Never played that game before.
No. Did the Syndicate... Were you too old to appreciate the Syndicate?
I think so, yeah. It is, for a 43-year-old guy, it was very cookie cutter.
Right. When you're a kid, your imagination fills in so many blanks, though.
Oh, yeah. Alyssa?
Mark Szymanski writes, Far Zenith from the Horizon games, particularly Forbidden West. Not only was their arrival a cosmic shift in the Horizon game world, the bosses were arrogant buttholes, and powerful ones at that. I wanted to beat each villain and the organization with every fiber of my gaming heart.
That's a good call.
Thinking of Sony, the Greek Pantheon were a pretty evil organization in the God of War series.
Oh my God, you're right, dude.
Yeah.
Man.
I can't really speak to the Norse Pantheon, but those Greek gods, outside of maybe Hades, all pretty much were terrible.
Yeah, and they made you hate them even though you didn't know why Kratos hated them at that point.
That's
right?
True, yeah.
You don't find out until the end of the game why he's so angry. But they still made you hate them all along the way, which made it... Man, I should go back and replay those games, dude. Those are fun.
Ares and Zeus in particular were pretty despicable. Ares you felt so good killing Ares.
Yes.
At the end of the first game.
Let's see. Next one comes from Jacob Gunderson. Man, this really takes a story-driven game to answer in a meaningful way. I haven't played a story game in a long time, and a lot of the Souls-like games have fun or cool bosses, but it is a one-time occurrence. You really need a character that hurt you, did something to really get under your skin. That's why I'm going to go with the boss from Metal Gear 3, Snake Eater. Watching Snake deal mentally and emotionally with the betrayal through the game, as you and Snake understand that this back-and-forth relationship can only end one way. Finally meeting once and for all in the Field of Flowers with an epic student-teacher showdown, and when you win, and you're not just beating a boss and moving on, you surpass your mentor and laid a friend to rest. As a player, you are probably excited that you won, but as the character, you can see that it is a bittersweet victory, and it weighs on it. I can't wait to play that game finally for the first time.
I can't believe they make you press the button.
I know.
Yeah, dude, the Patriots, those are fun. That's a fun and villainous organization.
Mm-hmm.
Does that only appear in 4?
2. Well, you learn about them in 2, and they get fleshed out and answered in 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got the collection. I'm this summer I want to go through those 3 on the remake.
Another fantastic lie about the summer from Mr. Clark.
Shut up, man. Shut up. That's one on my list. I bought it. It's sitting right here. It's unwrapped. But anyway, Zach, you're up.
Yeah, the boss is great. Revolver Ocelot's a great villain too.
Oh yeah, he is.
Also true.
He comes back a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, it's fun because you get to see so much of him because of the different characters you play as. So you kind of see, you really learn a lot about Revolver Ocelot and his weird liquid snake arm that takes over his mind.
What a crazy series!
There's a vampire in one of those games.
It's nuts.
Just chilling. Yeah, dude, those games are wild. Sorry, Alan Sheck writes, a lot of GTA villains are kind of interesting because they often start as your friends and allies and get corrupted by greed and later become enemies. I guess I'd hate to spoil it by naming names, but if you played any of the games, I'm sure you can think of a few. San Andreas does this very well. Also, I know there's no way this won't get mentioned, but I'll second whoever brings up the comically blatant emotional manipulation of GLaDOS.
Yeah.
Also, I will spoil a 30-year-old's children's game in Pajama Sam. I think this feels safe.
Pajama Sam?
I've never heard of this game.
He spends the whole game searching through the land of darkness for his superhero equipment to capture darkness and conquer his fear of the dark. When he finally gets to darkness to capture him, he finds out the darkness is just a fun guy looking for a friend because everyone sleeps at night, so he never has anyone to play with.
Oh, he was just lonely.
It's kind of an adorable twist.
That doesn't sound like a children's game.
Yeah, that sounds pretty adorable.
Yeah. All right, we got one more.
Okay. Drew Ross writes, the Sith in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. You could even become a villain yourself. The Sith are my all-time favorite villains to hate. Then again, maybe some of them just have a different point of view than the Jedi.
Right. They're heroes from a certain point of view. Shout out to the Jedi Council, okay, in KOTOR 1 and 2. Those guys are the real villains.
I don't know what that means.
Well, somebody will.
I need to go back and play that at some point. I have it on my phone.
Just probably not the best way to play it. I think they're on Switch. You can play them there.
Yeah, I saw that they had the collection. There was a Switch collection that includes KOTOR 1. Just one. Wasn't 2 not on there or something like that?
No, it was on there, but they promised Aspire, actually. Promised they were going to bring the restored content mod from PC to Switch. And then they
didn't.
And then they did not. So I'm glad I never bought it because I was only waiting for the restored content mod DLC. Maybe if I was an elite rich person who could afford a Steam Deck, I would play KOTOR 2 with the restored content mod installed.
Oh my gosh!
I'm
gonna come out there to Portland. I'm just gonna leave my Steam Deck with you so you can stop complaining about it.
What makes you feel better? Mine was a gift, so I didn't buy it.
Guys, this is straight up just petty jealousy. Okay, that's all this is. I just want one.
Or is it envy?
No, this is jealousy. I want to take it from you.
Isn't envy and jealousy the same thing?
No, jealousy is where like I would be like, I deserve that Steam Deck that Scott has. Whereas envy would be like, man, I wish I had a Steam Deck like Scott has.
Yeah.
But really, so yes, I am envious. I don't want your guys' lives to be worse. I just want a Steam Deck. That's all.
I mean, mine's been sitting up there unused for the past few weeks, so.
Well, you got to get the Sands of Time finished.
If you lived closer,
I could borrow it, play KOTOR 2.
Yeah.
Play Fear and Hunger.
I mean, if you live closer to me, I'd let you play mine too.
Sure.
So.
I just think of the game swapping we could do. We wouldn't have to do the digital game. We could actually share.
We really need to build our little commune.
Yeah,
so we can all live together. Yeah.
Sounds good. Guys, I'm going to buy up some land here in Oregon. And you guys can live in a little commune. We can live together on it.
I like it.
I feel like I do well in Oregon just with my personality. So I'm okay with that.
I mean, everybody should do fine in Oregon. I feel like
I feel like I could live with you guys super easily. Like we'd all just be having a great time.
Very, very accepting culture out here.
Yeah. Could be a throuple.
There you go.
Hey, I'm down.
It's probably weirder. It's probably weirder if you're not in a throuple.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, that is our topic. Thank you, everybody that wrote in. It was, I think it was Kevin that came up with that idea. So we're going to need him to come up with another idea for next week. So stay tuned.
Put all the pressure on Kevin.
We love you, Kevin.
Stay tuned to social media next week for next week's topic. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for listening. This episode of the Gaming Outsider was produced by Kevin Honigford. All the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. His website, as always, is stemagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zack, before we get out of here, do you have any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
Have you seen the Jason Statham movie, The Bank Job?
I have not.
If I have, it's been a while. I don't remember.
I just remember watching this when I was like a teenager or whatever. I rewatched it. That movie is excellent.
I feel like Jason Statham movies kind of blend together after a while.
But this is why The Bank Job stands out, because it is not an action movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know, he plays like a pretty normal guy who gets wrapped up in a bank heist opportunity because he needs money for his family.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so it is not Jason Statham, the action hero. It is Jason Statham doing 4 action movies a year. Like he's actually playing a different kind of character. It was somewhat confusing to see at first, because for like 15, 20 years he's just been Jason Statham and everything, but he was actually a somewhat different character here. So if you haven't seen The Bank Job in a while, I highly recommend it. It's a fun heist movie. It's got a lot of that British filmmaking energy, like the Guy Ritchie kind of I guess energy is a word for it.
The streaming anywhere?
No, I think it's on like Tubi or something where you have to watch ads. But no, I just watched my copy of it.
Speaking of movies, I rewatched. I had to finish it, but I rewatched Looper last night.
I love that movie.
I forgot how good a job they did making Joseph Gordon-Levitt look like Bruce Willis. It's just kind of
crazy. When I first heard
me.
that was going to be a thing, I'm like, how? And then I watched the movie. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I feel deep shame. I've not seen Looper.
It's really
that is
good, Zack.
streaming on Netflix if you want to watch that. So
well, obviously Rian Johnson makes nothing but great movies.
It's a thinking man's action movie, and I think you would appreciate it if you don't know what it's about. Kind of, I would recommend
I know the premise.
Oh, okay.
But it seems cool. I just never got around to it, I guess.
It's a fun movie, and Emily Blunt is great in that movie as well.
Oh, Emily Blunt's in it? That's all you had to say?
Yeah,
dude.
She got a shotgun.
I love her, dude. She's an actor I will absolutely see things just because she's in it.
She's awesome.
She's great.
Alyssa, what about you?
To no one's surprise, I've been watching another K-drama, even though this is more action.
Has this person had a girlfriend since birth or no?
The character in the series has a girlfriend, but not since birth. So
he is not a mote solo or whatever.
No, he is not a mote solo. But I really like it. It's called Bad and Crazy.
Ooh, my favorite kind of girl.
Except it's about the guy. Which I do love the actor, Lee Dong-wook. Amazing actor. They do reveal the twist in the second episode, which surprised me.
Oh, that's cool.
But it works though, like it helps propel the story. But I mean, it's the action's incredible. Impeccable comedic timing, and it's not cheap humor. It's just like it blends together so well. The soundtrack's amazing. Again, Lee Dong-wook, which if you're reading it in the American pronunciation would be Lee Dong-wook, basically. But amazing performance. Also has if you've seen Squid Game, the cop in Squid Game is in this as well. He's good. Lee Ha-joon. But yeah, I love it. It is subtitled though, which is kind of weird since it's a Netflix original K-drama. They usually dub theirs, but this one did not get a dub.
Oh. Do you normally listen with dubs, or do you?
No, I prefer subs just because it feels more natural. But I just say that because a lot of people do prefer dubs with foreign content. So if you were hoping for a dub with this, there is not a dub. But it's a lot of fun. I still have 4 episodes before I finish it, but I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I don't know why I didn't watch it sooner, because it's an absolute blast, but it also deals with some heavier topics that I wasn't expecting. Just really well done.
What was the name of it again?
Bad and Crazy.
Bad and Crazy. Yeah, when it comes to dubs, I want to watch almost all of my animes dubbed. But when it's live action...
I don't mind anime dub, but live action, it just sounds too weird.
Well, yeah, I just can't do with seeing their real-life mouth movements not at all match up with what I'm hearing. It's so distracting.
Yeah, and then the voices don't sound natural.
Yeah.
Either, so yeah. I don't mind it with anime, but with live action, I'd rather watch it subtitled than dubbed.
Definitely.
I've got a recommendation as well. I've got a board game recommendation. I went over to a friend's house this morning for breakfast. They came over to our house a couple weeks ago for breakfast, and then we went over to their house for breakfast. And they whipped out this game called, you guys are probably familiar with the Munchkin board games.
I've heard of it.
There's not just one, but the one we played today was called Munchkin Loot Letter, which I think is a play on Love Letter. And I absolutely love this game in its simplicity. It is a small deck of cards. We're talking like, I want to say 15 cards maybe is the entire deck of cards. They're numbered 1 through 8, and each one has a specific ability. And I mean, it literally takes 4 seconds to deal the cards because you only draw 1 card to each person. And on your turn, you draw 1 card from the pile, so you have 2, you play 1, and you keep the other in your hand. And each one, when you discard it, you discard it face up and have to do whatever the card says. But your goal is to have the highest number of cards at the end of each round. But you have to be sneaky about it because you don't want people to know what cards you've got. And there's cards that allow you to guess what a person's card is. And if you guess their card, they're out of the round. And it's super fun. The goal is to be have, like I said, have the highest card or eliminate all the other players. And if you do, you get the loot. And the first person to get 4 loots wins. The really fun part about it is when somebody is in the lead, they become the natural target for doing all the negative effects of the cards.
It's like playing Mario Kart.
Right. It's almost like it's built-in rubber banding. So my buddy Jeff was in a commanding lead, and because we all came after him because he was winning, it wound up being a 3-way tie for first place until somebody eventually won. So it was a really clever little game, and I love it when a game can be that simple and that engaging at the same time. It's a really fun little game, and I mean, 15 cards. It just blows my mind that a game can do that. We also played some Seven Wonders. I don't know if you've ever played Seven Wonders.
Yeah. I have actually played that. Yeah,
that's a fantastic game that not many board games allow you to have 7 players. You know, like especially that specific of a number. Like it caps at 7. But what a fantastic game! And if you do like Seven Wonders and you're looking for a way to play a game with just one other person, the people that made Seven Wonders made a 2-player version called Duel. That it's not like the exact same game, but it takes the same concepts and turns it into a 2-player game that I actually like better than Seven Wonders. So if you like Seven Wonders, I highly recommend Duel. Duel. It's one of the most perfectly balanced 2-player games I've ever played. So those are my recommendations for the week. Well, Zack, Alyssa, it's been a pleasure, as always. Thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to next week already, but until then, I'm Scott Clark with Zack Parkerson and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.